Brouhaha, noun, a noisy and overexcited reaction or response to something. Brahaha, noun, rules of session taken to absurd limits by officials, normally government officials. Example, as in asking teenage girls to remove their bras before taking an exam because the metal detector burst during frisking. If you didn't know, several girls who took the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Examination this week, or the NEET exam, at Ayur near Kollam in Kerala, were asked to remove their bras when metal detectors burst during their frisking. Indian officials are rules obsessed ad absurdum. So when the NEET dress code says that aspirants are not allowed entry with metallic objects, the rules obsessed officials will ensure that they don't go in with even a metallic hook on their bras. So, believe it or not, several teenage girls were asked to remove their bras and take the exam, which was 200 minutes long or 3 hours and 20 minutes long. Male or female, just visualize writing an exam for 3 hours plus without your innerwear. Here's how one of the girls described her ordeal. Their behavior was rude, and they ignored the girls who started crying after they were forced to remove their innerwear. There was no privacy, and we were taken to a dark room as a group and asked to change there. Despite the COVID-19 protocol, the clothes were thrown together in an unhygienic manner. Another girl described her horror to NDTV. They asked us to remove our bras and put it on a table. All the bras were bunched together, and we couldn't even know whether we would get ours back when we returned. It was crowded when we came back. It was a scramble, but I got mine. When we were writing the exam, we put our hair in front as we had no shawl to cover ourselves. The father of the girl who was the first to complain to police said the security personnel had asked, "Is your future or your innerwear big for you? Just remove it and don't waste our time." To cut the story short, 7 officials have been arrested. The Kerala Women's Commission has taken a suo motu case, and the State Education Minister R. Bindu has written to the Federal Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan seeking intervention against the National Testing Agency officials who conducted the exam. The overarching officials at the NEET exam center, so obsessed with the metal hooks on teenage bras, are merely the extension of rules-obsessed officials across the country, like the security at our airports who keep checking our boarding passes and identities from the gate right to the aircraft at virtually every turn. Or like the numerous rules associated with hoisting our national flag that barely anyone would dare hoist one. Or like our banks that keep asking us our identities even if we've been banking with them for years, sometimes decades. The officials at the NEET exam center are actually a minor subset of a nation that revels in formulating complicated and perplexing rules and then implements them with a heavy hand. In their report titled "Jailed for Doing Business" earlier this year, the Observer Research Foundation and Team Lee's RegTech pointed out that there were a staggering 26,134 clauses for imprisonment in the numerous laws governing business in India. Of the 1,536 laws that govern doing business in India, more than half have imprisonment clauses. And believe it or not, there are 69,233 compliances that businesses in India have to follow. According to the ORF Team Lee's report, an average MSME or micro, small and medium enterprise in India with more than 150 employees has to deal with between 500 and 900 compliances per annum, costing them between 1.2 and 1.8 million rupees a year. In other words, the main business of Indian businesses is to ensure compliances to avoid going to jail. Now, do these infinite laws in India actually deter frauds in the country? Hardly. Look at the Reserve Bank of India data. It says during 2020-21, there were only 7,363 financial frauds in the country, involving 1.38 trillion rupees. I said only because this number is actually lower than that of the previous year. So what's the learning from this year's NEET exam? For bra makers, that there is a big market for bras without metallic hooks. This year there were 1.87 million aspirants for the NEET exam, of whom 1.06 or 57% were girls. That's a cool 1 million plus requirement for hookless bras on NEET exam day. Learning too that Indians continue to be obsessed with medical education and Indian officials continue to be rules obsessed. When the two meet, officials always win. That status quo is unlikely to be broken soon. Let that be, but just imagine having to write an examination at the end of which the announcement goes, "Time, now you can wear your bras." This episode of Geometric View salutes Tolson P. Joseph, a sub-inspector of police in Alappuzha, Kerala, and his driver Joji Thomas, who helped rush a NEET aspirant to her exam hall in the nick of time. Because of an ambiguity in the address of her exam center on her admit card, NEET aspirant Archa Das was left at the wrong venue by her father. And by the time the error was noticed, her father had left. Sub-Inspector Tolson and his driver Joji rushed her to the right exam center in a police jeep, covering the 10 kilometers in 15 minutes flat. Indeed, there is the odd official who doesn't ask whether rules permit a police jeep to be used to ferry a girl in distress on her exam day.